name is Isabella Norslander, and today I'll be discussing special education laws. So we're going to take a little trip back in history to the development of the Constitution. What's really interesting is the fact that the Constitution doesn't have any specific laws regarding education. The Founding Fathers believed that states should have sovereignty, meaning that each state should develop its own education laws because they're so important. Because of this, initially those with special needs were often barred from educational opportunities in school altogether. Massachusetts was one of the first states to develop compulsory education laws. These are laws that require students to go to school. By 1918, compulsory laws were in place in every state, but many of these laws actively barred students who were weak in mind, made unusual noises, or were unable to take ordinary, decent physical care of themselves. Some states even went as far as to deem parent advocacy as illegal, meaning that if one of their students were to be expelled for displaying some of these characteristics, that these parents weren't allowed to fight the school on it. So something really cool is the fact that parents are the driving force in the history of the development of special education laws. So in 1910, the White House held the Conference on Children. So the goal of this conference, organized by parents, was to define and establish remedial programs for children with disabilities and special needs. This led to some major breakthroughs. We see the development of segregated classrooms for special needs students. Oftentimes people referred to these classrooms as successful, or they thought they were going to be successful because they were smaller. There was homogeneous grouping, meaning that everyone in the students in that class were at the same level. And due to the less competitive nature, they'd see students' improved self-esteem. We now know that integration is actually the key to our special needs students' success, along with equal opportunity and equitable opportunity, meaning these students are receiving the tools that they need to succeed. Anyhow, these kind of breakthroughs were definitely significant, but it's not truly equality for disabled students, so parents continued to press forward. In the year 1954, we saw the Brown versus the Board of Education case. This was a civil rights case where the justices ruled unanimously that racial segregation in public schools was unconstitutional. This was a major victory and spurred a lot of forward motion in our search for better rights for disabled students. This case was actually brought up multiple times in the Pennsylvania Association for Retarded Citizens, PARC, versus Commonwealth of Pennsylvania in 1972. This was a case fighting for equal education opportunities for all students, including those qualifying as mentally retarded. And the Mills versus the Board of Education of the District of Columbia in 1972. This was a case fighting for students with exceptionalities and their right to free education services, meaning that special needs students don't have to pay for the services they're receiving. This created a domino effect of cases where parents were going up to bat for their students, especially their special needs students. After years of legal work and pivoting, we see some groundbreaking legislation being put into act. In the year 1975, Congress enacted the Education for All Handicapped Children Act, EHA, which was later renamed the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, better known as IDEA. IDEA has undergone a number of revisions since its initial development. However, it remains the leading law in special education legislation today. We see students now having the opportunity to access free and appropriate educational opportunities, and their parents given specific and constitutional rights regarding their children's education. I understand that all the services and laws regarding special education can be really overwhelming. Consider heading to the Arizona Department of Education website and typing in Understanding Special Education. This site has a number of resources and links, including a glossary, terms of definition, disability categories, Q&As, as well as information on what's going on in our special education legislation today. I also really encourage you to visit the U.S. Department of Education website and searching Choosing a School. This particular search engine actually helps you find the school that's going to best fit your student and the schools that are the leading in special education laws. Also, head to raisingspecialkids.org. This is a nonprofit organization that works to connect families of disabled students with various services and programs at no charge. Thank you so much for joining me today.